words before we start our program. First, and I think foremost, two things. One, I don't say it often enough. I know that I am intensely proud to stand here before you today. Intensely proud of this school and what we've been able to do. The past 2 years have been incredibly challenging for everybody. We are very, very lucky to be here. And I appreciate every moment of it. Recently, we enjoyed the first school dance we've had in about 2 years. You guys did an absolutely awesome job. Phenomenal job. Every adult that was there helping out to chaperone commented on how happy they were to see you happy. That's what we're here for, okay? Additionally, stay with me. Additionally, assemblies like this are happening right now all across America. Think about that. Okay, in Massachusetts, there are 351 cities and towns. Each town has at least one middle school. In middle schools, high schools, and elementary schools across the nation right now, this same assembly is happening for a very, very specific reason. This defines what it means to be an American. Our role here, one of our roles here, is to prepare you Gibbons Middle School students who are now 13, 14, and 15 years old, to take over for us. You are the next generations of Americans. We need to ensure that you have a good understanding of where this nation has been. This nation is far from perfect. Our school is far from perfect. The recent events in our nation over the past 2 weeks demonstrate to us that we have a lot of work to do. As you listen to your peers, and we are probably, and again, one of the reasons that we are so lucky, and this is absolutely one of my favorite events of the school year, and I am thrilled that we can do it in person again. We are probably one of the few handful of schools in Massachusetts and across the nation in which, in our all-school Memorial Day assembly, half of the students in the school are performing for you. That's outstanding. We have a very, very rich culture here with lots and lots of very, very talented young people, okay? That's outstanding, and that gives me a significant amount of pride. So as we are going through our assembly today, this is for you. This is part of you learning about America, you learning about what being in America is, and you accepting that responsibility. Mr. Powers will share with us, and your peers will share with you, the history of Memorial Day, as well as specific anecdotes of people who sacrificed their lives so that we could gather here today to celebrate and to learn about our nation. As imperfect as it may be, here we are, and again, I am intensely proud of you, and I know for a fact that I am really lucky to be here. So with that, I'm going to turn the assembly over to Mr. Powers, and please enjoy the performances.
Welcome you to the 2022 Memorial Day Assembly here at Gibbons. As Mr. Foley said, it has been a while, and it is a nice feeling to be back. So please enjoy. Please consider what you hear, what you see, and yeah, let's begin. To open our assembly, we will hear the orchestra under the direction of Ms. Kristen Chartier playing the Star Spangled Banner. To explain more about the Star Spangled Banner, we will first hear from Imani Quran of the Purple Team.
Started to write the lines, so taken you see by the dawn's early light. During the War of 1812 and during other conflicts in our nation's history, American citizens have stepped up and sacrificed their lives to protect the rights that we have today. This is the essence of Memorial Day. At this time, please stand for our national anthem.
Unlike any of our other holidays. Rather than a celebration, it is more about remembrance for those Americans who have made the ultimate sacrifice so that we may live the life that we have. As a country, we are fortunate to have an abundance of freedom. There is always a cost to getting and keeping those freedoms. That cost has been paid by the many Americans who have died to protect us and our rights. Memorial Day is about real heroes who have made the ultimate sacrifice so that we may enjoy the many rights and privileges that we have. From the Revolutionary War through the Civil War, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, and right up to conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan, fellow Americans have been willing to give up everything, including their lives, for all of us. Every day in homeroom, our principal, Mr. Foley, leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance. It is a promise from us to commit to our system of principles, including liberty and justice for all. Here to tell us more about the Pledge of Allegiance is Suhavi Sethi of the Maroon Team.
The Pledge of Allegiance was originally written in August 1892 by an American Baptist minister and social activist, Francis Bellamy. 1892 was the 400th anniversary celebration of Christopher Columbus's discovery of America. Bellamy desired a special celebration that year and wanted the celebration to feature a flag-raising ceremony and salute. With this desire in mind, he wrote the pledge. Bellamy designed the pledge to be short, quick, to the point, and to be recited within 15 seconds. The original pledge read, "I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." The pledge was first published in 1892 in the September 8th edition of a Boston-based children's magazine called Youth's Companion. The pledge was first published in public schools on October 12, 1892, during Columbus Day celebrations after a proclamation made by President Benjamin Harrison. Over 12 million children recited the pledge that day, thereby beginning a school day ritual. Bellamy felt that the pledge and its recital by children across the country was a fine show of national solidarity. The pledge was accompanied by a salute wherein the arm was outstretched and the palm faced upward. The Pledge of Allegiance to the United States flag is a promise or oath of loyalty to the Republic of the United States of America. Today, the words read, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." Congressional sessions open with the recitation of this pledge, and it is also recited at public events. As per United States Flag Code, the pledge is to be recited by standing at attention, facing the flag, and placing the right hand over the heart. People in uniform must face the flag, remain silent, and take the military salute. Those not in uniform must remove any non-religious headdress, place with their right hand and place it over their left shoulder in such a way that their right hand is over their heart. The pledge is recited by school children of all religions across America on a daily basis.
Here to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance is our very own Assistant Principal, Mr. Nash.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Nash. The Gibbons Band, directed by Mr. Doug DeFresney, will now perform Spirit of America. This piece will be introduced by Arushi Wara.
What exactly is Memorial Day? Besides being a day off from school on the last Monday of May each year, we use this day to remember and honor those who have fought and died for our country. It is a day of mourning, but also a day to recognize and celebrate the brave men and women who fought for the United States over the course of our nation's history. The piece we are about to perform for you is titled Spirit of America, arranged by Alan Gray. This arrangement incorporates two patriotic themes from America the Beautiful and Battle Hymn of the Republic. With everything that's happening in the world within our own country, this piece represents the pride and strength that we carry as Americans when we all put aside our differences and work towards a common goal. Spirit of America represents our strength as Americans, our resiliency, and our ability to get through the darkest of times. It is a piece that gives us hope for a brighter future. We hope you enjoy our rendition of Spirit of America.
Here we go. 1, 2, roll off head.
Thank you, Mr. President. Where did the idea of Memorial Day come from? Where did it start? What does it mean? Maddie Parvin of the Purple Team will now explain the history and meaning of Memorial Day.
The first display of Memorial Day was less than 3 weeks after the Confederate States surrendered after the Civil War. On May 1st, 1865, over 1,000 Union soldiers walked into an abandoned prisoner camp with a mass grave. They honored the many Union soldiers there with a proper burial, as well as flowers, greetings, and music. Besides being the unofficial beginning of summer, Memorial Day is a time of mourning and honor for our United States soldiers who have given their lives serving our country. All over America, people participate in a national moment of silence at 3 p.m. local time, and United States flags are flown half-mast until noon as a sign of respect. Although not officially recognized as a federal holiday until 1971, Memorial Day has been celebrated for over 150 years as a holiday where people decorate the graves of fallen soldiers. It is a day to honor and send our respect to all the fallen soldiers who have given the ultimate sacrifice to this country to protect each and every one of us. Men and women have been fighting wars for the United States since the one that started it all, the Revolutionary War. Without them, we wouldn't live in the amazing country we have today.
Because Memorial Day is filled with a lot of emotions about sacrifices that have been made, there have been many poems written to reflect these feelings and memories of the people who have been lost. Here with one such poem is Mahika Machala of the Blue Team, who recite the poem Memorial Day, written by Michelle Kai.
Stand here looking at the flags upon these graves. Know these flags represent a few of the true American braves. They fought for their country as people have through all of time, except that these soldiers lying here fought for your country and mine. As we all are gathered here to pay them our respect, let's pass this word to others. It's what they would expect. I'm sure that they would do it if it were me or you, to show we did not die in vain, but for the red, white, and blue. Let's pass on to our children and to those who never knew what these soldiers died for. It's the least that we can do. Let's not forget their families. Great pain they had to bear, losing a son or daughter, father or mother. They need to know we still care. No matter which war was fought, on the day that they died, I stand here looking at these flags filled with American pride. So as the bugler plays out taps with its sweet and eerie sound, pray for these soldiers lying here in this sacred, hallowed ground. Take home with you a sense of pride. You were here Memorial Day, celebrating the way Americans should on the solemnest of days.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Gibbons Middle School chorus, directed by Mr. Joseph Stilatano, will now perform American Tears. American Tears is to be introduced by Macy Silverberg.
Teresa Jennings is an American composer born in Ohio and raised in West Virginia who wrote American Tears. This song paints a picture of what it means to be proud to be an American and to reflect upon those that have sacrificed so much to give us the freedoms that we enjoy every day as Americans.
If Memorial Day is about reflection and remembrance of those who have died in battle, the Battle of Gettysburg during the American Civil War gave President Abraham Lincoln much to think about. Our nation was involved in a bloody civil war that threatened to permanently tear us apart. In 1863, there appeared to be no end in sight. In early July of 1863, a three-day battle occurred in Pennsylvania in which the North barely managed to drive back a huge Southern force. Nobody knew at the time, but the Battle of Gettysburg would be the turning point of the war. All they knew was over 50,000 men had died in 3 days of fierce battle. 6 months later, President Lincoln gave a speech at the opening of a cemetery for all those on both sides who died fighting for their nation. This speech is recognized as one of the most important in American history. Here to read that speech is Gianluca Fonseca of the Green Team.
Our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now, we're engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but can never forget what they did here. It is for us the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us. That from these honored dead we take increased devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth.
We will now hear from the Gibbons Middle School concert choir under the direction of Mr. Joseph Silitano. They will perform Lift Every Voice and Sing. With words of introduction are Rashida Adagudi of the Green Team and Alex Kenny of the Maroon Team.
Lift Every Voice and Sing was publicly performed first as a poem, part of the celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday by Johnson's brother John. In 1919, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, labeled it as the Negro National Anthem for its power in voicing the cry for liberation and affirmation for African American people.
The song is a prayer of thanksgiving for faithfulness and freedom, with imagery evoking the biblical exodus from slavery to the freedom of the promised land. It is featured in 39 different Christian hymnals and is sung in churches across North America.
Last year, at the inauguration of President Biden, a young poet by the name of Amanda Gorman read her poem, The Hill We Climb, which reflects on some of the struggles our country has faced and the need for us to come together and help each other. Seemed like a good idea to do it again. Performing The Hill We Climb will be one student from each of our teams here at Gibbons. These students are Will Cormier of the red team, Arati Sai of the orange team, Danica Bieber of the yellow team, Abi Thanikela of the maroon team, Hasini Jivanantham of the purple team, Advait Puranik of the blue team, and Grace Hadley of the green team.
When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We brave the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. The norms and notions of what just isn't always justice. And yet, the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow, we do it. Somehow, we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished.
We, the successors of a country in a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find ourselves reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gaze not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside.
We lay down our arms so that we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we heard, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we will forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division.
Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blades, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promise to blaze, the hill we climb, if only we dare. It's because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the path we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy, and this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can periodically delay, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust. For a while we have our eyes on the future. History has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We fear it as its inception. We do not feel prepared to be the heirs of such terrifying power, but within we find the power to offer a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us?
We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be. A country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be inheritance of the next generation. Becoming the future of our blunders, become their burdens. But one thing is certain, if we have merged mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. Every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one.
We will rise from the golden hills of the west. We will rise from the windswept northeast where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south.
We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover. In every known nook of our nation and every corner called our country, our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade of flame and unafraid. The new day balloons as we free it, for there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Finally, we have come to the very somber ending of our assembly, the playing of a piece called Taps. This piece is played at the burial of American soldiers who have sacrificed their lives for our nation. This piece will be performed by Somed Kanakanachi and Jerry Kwai of the Purple Team, and it will be introduced by Sharvi Pujari.
A bugle, which has no valves and looks similar to a trumpet, requires a great deal of skill to play accurately. Eventually, taps simply made more sense to be played on the trumpet, because bugles are not included in a typical band song. As our trumpet players perform taps for you today, you will notice that their first finger is pressed down a valve, but that finger never moves at any point. This helps how to imitate how taps would be played on a bugle. It is a haunting and eloquent call that is typically played at military funerals, memorial services, and wreath-laying ceremonies. Although the origin of taps is shrouded in a bit of mystery, it is believed that the version we use today originated in 1862. Legend has it that a military Union general during the American Civil War did not like the bugler's call for lights out at the end of a long day of intense fighting. Eventually, a new call was created to signal the end of each day of fighting and honor the men who did not come back from the battlefield. This new bugle call was in fact taps. At this point, taps took on a new meaning. It now meant that the day was over, but as each soldier prepared for sleep, they would now remember those who gave their lives for their country each day.
I'd like to thank all the fabulous music groups, our own fabulous music groups, and all the student performers today. And I'd also like to thank you folks for being a great audience. Just a couple final words, and then you can be dismissed. Above all, Memorial Day is about giving thanks to all those who have sacrificed their lives so that we can all have what we have. Some of you might hesitate at the words, all that we have, because we have spent the last 2 years in a global pandemic. The world shows increasing symptoms due to global warming, and the news in our nation often reflects division and unfairness. Why should we be thankful? Well, here are just a few reasons. There is no invading nation inside our borders, killing our people. Our medical community has created new medical resources that have allowed us to emerge from the COVID cloud. And the schools in Westboro continue to be a safe place for us to come to every day, filled with people who are concerned about the achievement for all. We have always had people, whether they are soldiers or scientists or healthcare workers, who have been willing to give their all, including their lives, so that we as a nation may survive. This weekend, as you spend your time doing what you enjoy, please take a moment to say thanks to all those who have made that possible. Thank you.